Welcome back to
Love.
Love. Is it enough? We want to thank you for joining us again from last week's show, from fairy tale to reality. The 5 steps of building authentic relationships. I'll tell you a story before we get started.
Okay.
There's this guy, and he was going out with this girl that was gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Ba ba boom, movie star, beautiful, the
Okay.
prettiest girl he ever went out with in his life, right?
Okay, I got that.
And on the second date, he begins to tell her how awful his childhood was.
Okay.
Then he tells her about the horrible breakup, divorce between his mom and his dad.
Wait a minute. He's laying a whole lot of information on this.
It gets deeper. Then he tells her about his terrible stint and stay and foster care because of the breakup of the divorce.
Hold on. That's a lot for we wouldn't.
Wait.
I know she.
No, he didn't stop.
Oh.
Then he tells her the reason why he doesn't trust women is because of divorce, the breakup, the foster care, and how long it took for his mom to get him back.
I know she had to go. Did she stay?
You guess what happened?
She left.
She goes to them.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because he kind of jumped steps.
Yes, he did.
But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor.
WYTV7.org is a nonprofit television station that sponsors shows like ours that help educate, empower, and encourage our community. Please consider donating by going to WYTV7.org and click the tab and donate now.
Please go and donate now. So for anybody that missed last week's show,
yes.
Let's do a little recap on the backdrop of the story of level 1 and level 2 before we go on level 3. What's level 1 again?
General communication.
Which is?
It's low risk communication that happens between people who just meet.
Right.
There are no ties, nothing, just communication.
Normal, everyday chit chat. I like the weather. How's your flight? The car. Normal chit chat. Nothing deep. Nothing too intimate. Nothing too revealing about themselves.
No expectations placed on anyone. None of that.
None of that. And level 2?
Level 2 is exploratory communication. This happens when they decided to have a conversation with the individual. And this stage, you easily revert or change opinion based on opposition.
Right. So it's like you had an initial conversation, you want to explore and see, is this worth building a relationship, or is it something there, whether it be friend, whether it be girlfriend, boyfriend, whether it be sister, brother relationship. This is how you build authentic relationships. This is not talking about marriage relationships. This is talking about all relationships. It could lead into a marriage. But more than not, these steps can be used to build great, deep friendships or relationships that will last for a lifetime. And so what our friend in the story did was he just completely ignored the steps and
went from 0 to 100.
0 to 100, right? And so you do not reveal all of who you are on the second date conversation. You haven't built trust
at all.
You haven't built mutual respect. You haven't built mutual expectations.
It's like he just went and just dumped everything out on the table. Everything. Second date. Everything on the table. And she probably right there just looking crazy like, okay.
Right.
It's a lot of information. And it's a turn off.
It's a turn off.
Yes.
And obviously, if it's a second date and the girl's is pretty, she must have like had an interest in him, and he killed it because he just dumped all this stuff on her at one time.
Yes, he did.
And so that's the danger of doing that in level 1 and level 2, because you could be expecting something that you're not going to get because you haven't built that in yet. There's no expectations. And so one thing I want to say about authentic communication is that when you are building a relationship, Give the relationship a chance to grow and build.
Yes.
Don't be in such a rush to build a relationship, because if you're rushing, you can end up killing something that would be a great work relationship, that would be a great friendship, that would be a great romantic relationship. But you got to give it time. Let the thing breathe.
Yeah, let it build. It's like an architect or a construction. They build. They don't just rush and put everything on. It's a process.
Right. I like how
It's
you
a
said that,
process.
because like level 1 and level 2 and level 3 is like building the foundation that you're going to build your relationship on. And if you don't have level 1 and level 2 and level 3, you build and it sinks, cracks, it ruins.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that. You did that, baby.
Thank you.
Let's talk about level 3.
Level 3 is personal feelings and experiences that shapes our belief. This is where we begin to take risk. You begin to reveal some of your own opinions and beliefs, and this makes us more vulnerable and give us an opportunity to build trust within the relationship.
Okay, I want you to go back and say those 3 words again, because beliefs, opinions, and experiences, right? Beliefs, opinions, and experiences. This is when I or you begin to share. And in level 3, we still do not share them all. We begin to share. It is a beginning of being vulnerable. It is not just, oh, here I am.
Put yourself all out there.
Yeah, it is the beginning of being vulnerable, right? It's what he could have did if he was at level 3 was, I had a really bad childhood, and this is some of the things that happened to me, right? Not my bad childhood, my bad parent divorce, I don't trust women.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah, bits and pieces. You reveal yourself in bite-sized pieces, right?
Right.
Because here's the truth: once you have revealed who you are, you can never go back and change who you are. And this is I tell this to people as well. Once a person has revealed who they are, believe what they have shown you.
That's right. They've shown you. They don't paint the picture. You see it, believe it.
Believe it. Believe it.
And some people are like, I find that hard to believe. Well, he showed you and told you everything.
Right. He showed you, she showed you, this is who they are. Right?
Right.
So in level 3 is where we start being vulnerable. And also in level 3 is where we start putting expectations on the other person. This is no longer just a casual meeting. This is no longer chit chat. This is no longer exploratory. This is what I have decided that I want to invest in this person, build a relationship. I'm going to start being vulnerable, and we start putting expectations. Here's the thing about expectations. Expectations must be clear,
very clear,
and reachable or obtainable.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So you cannot, if it's a dating situation, you cannot be dating a guy that's not making Ruth Chris money and expect him to take you to Ruth Chris. Duh. Ain't happening. Or you cannot be dating a girl that has 2 kids and expect her to spend her whole Friday and Saturday with you because you the man. It ain't happening. The expectations have to be clear and attainable and agreed upon by both people.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be attainable and agreeable, because if not, and I think that's how couples or however loses each other, because they're thinking in their mind, how can I do this when I have children? I can't just take off and spend the whole day with you.
Right.
So make it where both of you can agree upon a situation and obtain it.
Right. And the other thing with expectations is we don't add too many expectations at this level, right?
No.
1 or 2 expectations. This is not when you have 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 expectations on this person that you are just trying to build a relationship with. These are light expectations.
Yeah.
I was kind of upset the other day. I call you in the morning and you don't call me back, or I don't get a text saying, how's your day? Or I was really looking forward to talking to you the other day and you didn't call me. Those type of little expectations that are attainable and agreed upon by both people. Listen, our time is almost up. We have to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with love. Is it enough? Welcome back to Love. Is it enough? We've been talking about these 5 steps of building authentic communication in relationships, right?
Right.
So one of the things that I did mention before the break is in level 3, because you're starting to be vulnerable, if it is a romantic situation, level 3 can be dangerous, especially if there is attraction between the two people. In level 3, you have to resist the urge to go too far in a romantic situation. On the other hand, if it is a friendship situation, you want to resist the urge of having diarrhea of your feelings, emotions, opinions, and who you are. There are levels that you have to build in between, because in level 3, there is a risk of rejection.
Oh yeah, the risk is high.
Risk is very high.
Because you got your feelings you already put out there, so that just makes you vulnerable right there. So the risk is very high.
Right, and so you're invested in level 3. You're invested, right? Both parties are invested. There are clear, attainable expectations. We've been from level 1, the little chat, level 2, the exploratory, hey, who you, well, and now we're in level 3. We're invested. We are both agreeing that we want to build some type of relationship here. And so level 3 is where you have to be careful. The relationship is vulnerable. Relationship is in the beginning stages, it is vulnerable. So relationship is the beginning stages, it is vulnerable. So let's talk about level 4. The level 4 is more in depth, it is more vulnerable, and it's more authentic who you are.
Yes. Oh, you're not saying level 4. Who you are? Who am I?
Who am I?
At this relationship building stage, we have built trust, and this level of relationship is completely vulnerable.
Okay, let's talk about the trust first before we go into the other parts of level 4, because I think this is important for us to talk about the trust part of it. You build trust by putting out expectations and expectations being met, right?
Right.
You hurt trust, or you take a withdrawal from trust. Think of trust as a bank, right? Okay. And either you are putting money in or currency into the bank, or you're withdrawing from the bank. A simple thing is saying, hey, I'm going to meet you at 8 o'clock, and you end up there at 9 o'clock. That's a withdrawal, right? Because in the other person's mind is, they said 8, but they're always here at 9, right? Or, hey, let's have lunch on Wednesday, and Wednesday comes, there's no phone call, there's no expectation, there's no explanation, you just don't show up. That's a withdrawal out of trust. Vice versa, building the trust between the two is meeting the expectation. What time do you want me there?
7 o'clock.
Then 7 o'clock, I show up.
That's right.
Let's have lunch on Wednesday.
Yes.
If I can't have lunch on Wednesday, There's a phone call, there's an explanation why, and there's a follow-up phone call, again expressing my sorrow and my disappointment of letting down your expectations. That's building trust.
Yes. Building trust is very, very important. You don't have trust, how do you have a relationship?
You can't.
You cannot. So you have to build, trust has to be built on both parties.
On both parties.
It's not just, okay, just one-sided. It has to be both parties in order for it to work.
And in this level, it is an expectation of where level 4 is an expectation in where I can be honest and tell you my opinions and be free of rejection and free of judgment, right? So if you think about it with your authentic friends, you can tell your authentic friend, listen, man, I just wanted to choke so-and-so out. And it's not, well, you know, man, you're supposed to be a Christian and a pastor, and you're not supposed to be thinking that way. I want to choke so-and-so out. Well, Romans and the Corinthians and Genesis says so-and-so. This, no. This is my real friend. But my real friend is going to say, yeah, sometimes I feel like choking so-and-so out too, right? Yeah, it's free of judgment.
Yes.
It's free of judgment. And that also helps build the trust, right? So the trust is being built between the two of us because I'm meeting expectations, right? That are being put out, and more expectations are being put out, right? And here's what happens in level 4. Sometimes it kills relationships. You know what it is?
What's that?
Level 4, sometimes people think we have become mind readers, right? I know it's in your head.
Yes.
I know it's in your head. If we go back to the first segment, right, with the couple, she was expecting him to tell her he was going to take her out, and he was thinking, well, you don't have plans. I'm going to hang out with my boys.
That's right.
They both thought each other was mind readers and knew what each other wanted, but they didn't. So in level 4, not only do you have to be clear about expectations, you got to be clear about what you want.
Yeah. And really not joking, we're just talking out of frustration, you know?
Right.
Yeah, another thing we forgot about this here, this is a good one. On this level, that's where you share your pain, your failures, your dreams, all of this on level 4.
So your pain, your failures, and your dreams.
Your joys too, all of that.
Your joys, not just a dream like, no, like one day I want to be a doctor. No, your dream of like how you really want to attain this thing, right? Like, man, this is my burning desire. This is really what I want to do. You know, you might be doing one thing and you might have this real desire, do something else. And that person that you're sharing that with, you're expecting them to encourage you, right? To be your cheerleader, right? To be your encourager on this level. And so sometimes people will say, well, that sounds like at this level, I have to be fake. No, it's not fake, but it is free of judgment. And at this level also, it is true honesty and communication without brutality. Say it again.
Say it again.
It is clear honesty and communication without brutality, right?
Right.
So, for instance, we got into a discussion today in one of my classes, right? Somebody smelled bad. I'm going to say it that way, right? And so when the person left, of course, all the kids are going crazy. How am I going to tell them they stink? I'm like, guys, you can't do it that way. You don't know what this person is going through. There's a way to say it without damaging the person, making the person feel little, and belittling them. So when they came back in, and the person came over to my desk, I told him, lean down. Let me tell you something in your ear. I don't know how active you've been today, but you're carrying a body odor. Let's go to the nurse or the AD and ask them, can you have something to freshen up with? And the person thanked me. and said thank you.
And they'll receive it better. They can't receive that in embarrassment or calling them out.
Right. And so in relationship, we don't brutalize the person that we're in a relationship with. Oh, you that blah, blah, blah. No, me and my best friends, listen, we tell each other stuff. We tell each other the truth, but we tell it to them in a way that's not going to damage them or the person. Listen, we're out of time. Oh my God. Thank you for joining us on Love. Is it enough? Tell the people how to reach us if they want to tell us a story or let's ask mama.
Okay, calm down, baby. You can contact us at gtlm.isloveenough@gmail.com.
Thank you for joining us on Love. Is it what she said?
Is it enough?